Hello, everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love showing off from my heart and teaching you how to create a little journey to life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? Part two, day two and two of Paint Big. So, welcome back. I have the background. This is what we did yesterday. If you missed part one, let me move that a little closer. There we go. If you missed part one, that is on the YouTube or on my Facebook page. You can find it above or below, where depending on where you're at. If you want the supply list and the tracer, the link is in the comments. You can just click on that link and go in there and enter your email address, and you will get the supply list and the tracer. We are going to work on our umbrella tonight. Tomorrow night is going to be, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I got my background all done. Woohoo! Yay, Capri! Tomorrow's going to be all about the flowers. This beautiful flower arrangement in our umbrella. So I scoured for something round. I'm going to use this hat box. I'll give you a little tip. This is a huge hat box. I mean, look at it compared to me. This hat box is in my dining room, and I keep my tablecloths in it. It's a big hat box. It's probably about this deep, and I keep my tablecloths in it. So not that I have a whole variety, but I do. I have fall and spring and my Christmas one, and I keep them in this hat box in the corner. I have some other few little things on it. It's like a vignette, even though I do not like the word vignette. I don't know why I have a thing with that. And I keep my linens. And then I saw this hat box, and I'm like, that will work. You don't want something completely round, but you do need the curve. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to undress my T-square from its T-shirt. Okay. And I thought I had a piece of chalk, but now I can't find it. So I have to get one. They were right here. Not there. Here we go. Right. I have a piece of chalk. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to use my T-square again. I'm probably going to have to move it. And you want your handle of your umbrella to go on a diagonal and go into the ground part. I'm going to put my handle about here. So you want the pole, the umbrella part, whatever, from about, I guess, a quarter of the way down on a diagonal and going into the rainy ground part. So I'm going to hold this up here. I have the top on my mark, and I'm just going to put a little chalk line. I'm going to move it down, and I'm just going to continue my chalk line a little bit of the way into the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. It comes down to about here. Okay? Let me put this away. I was unable to lodge trace and use as a guide to penciling. Oh, good for you, Capri. I'm glad that worked. I'm glad that worked for you. I try and help you out. It doesn't always work for everyone. Okay. Then I'm going to get this. I'm going to hold this about here. I think that'll work. And I'm just going to do the rounded part. Now I can see that, and I'm going to have to crouch down. I did the rounded part, and then I'm going to come up to about there, about to the line. But on this side, I'm going to come up past the line. Okay? This doesn't matter. You're not going to worry about that. All right. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can get it in here a little bit darker. How's that? Yes, you can see it now. Okay. And then this too. Okay. I used the rounded part just to establish my curve. And then I went above my horizontal line here, and I stayed on my horizontal line there. Okay. Then about even with my umbrella, I'm going to, in the middle, put a little smiley face. Okay. This way I'm even. Then I'm going to do 1, 2 scallops and connect. I'm going to do the same thing here. And since my umbrella is tilted, we're going to go up a little bit. I'm going to do 1. That was a crappy one. I'm going to do 1, 2 scallops. Okay? I don't care about the chalk mark. I'll tell you how to get rid of that later. So now I have my umbrella. I'm going to add some scallops to the back. You may not see the back because of the flowers, but we want them in here. We want it in here anyway. Just in case. Okay? That's probably going to be covered with, I don't like that either. I'm going to get a little bit of paper towel. It's probably going to be covered with our flowers, but you never know. Hey, Debbie. So I'm just dampening a paper towel. I'm going to my dry canvas, and like magic, my chalk comes right off. I'm going to fix my back line there. Okay? And this one. If you're using chalk, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. Oh, thank you, thank you. When my design is completely dry, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. This way, I'll be able to get my chalk lines right off. You dampen up a paper towel and they come right off. So I'm going to come back in. I want it to be closer. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I have my pole. And now I'm going to do my handle. The handle on the top, it can be just straight and uniform, or you can make it rounded like a candy cane. Okay? You want it wider than your pole. And it's an either, whatever you want it to be. It's either an upside down J or a candy cane. All right? Okay, I'm going to put my chalk down. If you have not gotten the supply list, the link is in the description. And for my circle, I use the top of a hat box. This is not a complete circle. I just wanted to establish a curve. And then because it's an umbrella, it gets wider on either end. Okay. Our umbrella is yellow. So I'm going to put out some plain bright. This is just basic yellow, true yellow, and some white. Yellows, oranges, some reds, all tend to be quite transparent. Even brown sometimes for some reason. I don't know why. It's quite transparent. Okay. So I have out just some plain bright yellow and then some white on my palette. All right. I'm using the white for 2 reasons. One is to tone down my yellow just a smidge. And 2 is to make my yellow more opaque because we need to cover this all up in here. Oh, I forgot my lines. Okay. Can you see me down here? Yes. So right here in the middle, I'm going to put the little knob for the top of our umbrella. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paint in curves for our umbrella segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't need this down here. We only need that up there. Okay. Because when we paint our umbrella, we're actually going to paint it in segments. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Back to my paint. So I'm going to load my brush with white. All right. Oh, you can't see that because you're up here. I'm going to load my brush with white, and then I'm going to pick up yellow. So I had white on my brush, and now I picked up yellow. And let me see. Let me put you guys back a smidge. There we go. All right. I'm going to work in one segment at a time, and I want my strokes to curve with the segment. Smiley faces. Graduating, tapering, getting smaller as we go down. Okay? So I'm going to start here. And I'm just going to start filling in We can outline by using our brush on the chisel edge. And then we're just going to come in here and we're going to fill in the whole section with this yellow and white mixture on our brush. I'm going to pick up some more white. I'm going to dip in yellow and I'm going to fill in each segment at a time. And I want my brush strokes to follow the curve of the umbrella. So I'm making smiley faces. In this case, they'd be a little bit on the crooked side, but I'm making smiley faces in each section. Don't get hung up right now in the way your umbrella looks. This is just coat number 1 to get our background covered up because I did my whole background. If you painted with me yesterday and you skipped your umbrella, you might want to be a little more neat in this area doing your umbrella now. But if you painted your entire background and now you traced your umbrella on, we're not really worrying about this step. We want to get the background covered and we want to just establish some movement and get our background covered up with yellow. Okay? And that's why, again, I'll do this other line. We do it in segments. We're establishing the movement. We're establishing dimension in our painting. We're not just going to come in here and paint one big yellow covering. I mean, you could, but that just adds another step to your project. Be aware of your lines. We don't want to lose our segments, okay? I can still see mine. You want to be able to see yours. And I'm just going to fill in the same way that we filled in the first one and that I will fill in the next ones. All right? So even though I may outline with a swoop on the vertical, when I come in here, I'm making these smiley faces across the whole thing. All right, and I'm just going to keep going now. So the brush strokes will add dimension to, yes, ma'am. That's why we do it in sections and we don't just go willy-nilly and fill the whole thing in. We're paying attention to each section and then we're going to come back and shade according to section as well. Okay, so now I'm doing this big. Now this is the middle. This is the middle section. It's completely round. It's not just a half. I want this section to be extra bright, extra light. We're going to come back in here. We're going to add some white to it at the end as well, because this is the part that is really going to make our umbrella look rounded. I'm going to need more white paint. This painting big, you guys, for me, the biggest challenge is, well, there's quite a few challenges, but I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be teaching. You know, I love to teach you guys. You know, I love to be here with you guys live. But I'm like, I had no idea like how much paint I was going to need. I keep filling it up and filling it up, which is okay. It's just paint. We love paint. We're here to paint. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I'm not well prepared. So anyway, I'm coming back to this section with my yellow and my white, and I'm going to go over it again. And I'm probably going to come back even again later. Well, I know I'm going to, and add white to it again. All right? So moving along, I'm in my 5th section now. If you're painting on a regular canvas, if you're painting on a regular size canvas and not this mutant I chose to paint, you may only have 3 sections. You may have a big section and then 1 to each side. That is totally okay. I believe the tracer only had 3 sections, the middle section and 1 section out to each side. That is totally okay. Don't fret if you don't have 5 like me. Mine's bigger. And now on to our last section here. I'm going to outline it, stand the brush up on the chisel edge. I want to keep my sections separated. And I'm painting in. Tomorrow we're going to do the flowers, you guys. So get ready for a lot of colorful paint and a lot of colorful flowers. Oh, yeah. And if you want to be entered into the drawing, which I'm going to pick the winner tomorrow night. I'm not going to pick the winner during painting tomorrow because I'll be painting and I need to enter all the names into the random name drawer picker thing. So after tomorrow's live, if you want to be entered into the drawing to win this bag of art supplies, paints, a stencil, and a set of brushes, put paint big in the comments. And then tomorrow night, probably at 7, I'll hop back on and we'll do the drawing. And then you can just email me or message me your address and I'll get that shipped out to you. Okay. All right. I'm just going to pick up a little white and I'm going to go back through and I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the middle sections. Again, keeping them on the curve, but I'm just brightening up the middle sections and you'll see why in a little bit. Okay. Okay. If your brush starts to get a little gucked up like that, see how it's like full of paint and it's like bulbous? I'm going to get a paper towel and I'm just going to wipe it off. Okay. And see now it's flat again. It was getting a lot of paint buildup in here and then you really can't control it. It happens with all the brushes. So you want to just wipe it off. You don't have to go into the water. I don't think we're changing colors yet. Actually I am, but it doesn't matter. But I'm not even going to go into the water. I'm putting out a little raw sienna now for the background. But yeah, you don't have to. Just wipe it off and then get a fresh start. Okay. I'm not even going to clean my brush. I'm picking up a little raw sienna and I'm going to paint in what would be the opposite side of the umbrella. Okay. We don't have to worry really too much about this. This is presumably going to be covered by all the flowers, but maybe you didn't want that many flowers. Maybe you got bored and you only wanted 5 flowers, or you like a little bit more of a minimalistic design. You're going to have to paint in the back of your umbrella then, so your flowers aren't just out there flapping in the wind. Okay? But theoretically, this will be covered up. But if we're going to have some flowers peeking through, we want to make sure that we're seeing the inside of our umbrella and not the sky. And again, I am painting these strokes as if they were smiley faces. I am using the brush either on the flat or on the chisel edge, but each segment I am painting in a smiley face. I'm painting from top to bottom. All right, and we're going to fill it in. Okay, now I am going to wash my brush. So how was everyone's day today? I had a good day. I was thinking I shouldn't have made this at 7 because then I was like, where's 7? Where's 7? Is it going to be 7 soon? And then lo and behold, it was 7:01. I was like, oh, got to get on. So I don't blame you, Debbie. This is only the third time I've painted on this size canvas. Am I shouting, you guys? I feel like I'm being very loud. Yeah, this is only the third time I painted on this size canvas. But you know what? It's something different. And the tracers that come with the download or either a like a regular sheet of paper or an 11 by 14. So you can do whatever size you want. This painting is for personal use only, and it is inspired by Tracy Kiernan painting. It's not my design. Okay, so I'm going to put out a little bit of black, and I have some white out already. I am going to switch. No, I'm not going to switch my brush. Not yet. Okay. So I'm going to load some black, and I'm going to move up to the. I'm also on a smaller canvas because I had it on hand and didn't. That's fine. You know what? If you guys have been watching me a long time, and I know you have, Capri, and whoever else is on here, use what you have. If you can see all my supply lists, look, suggested supply list. And then I even believe canvas 24 by 36 or your choice. I don't hold people in my in-person parties to paint stroke by stroke. I teach them stroke by stroke, but I encourage them to do their own thing, put their own personality, use their own colors. I am never like, and now you have to. No. It's a suggestion. And I would never encourage you to like go out and buy more products or art supplies. If you are going to go out and buy more art supplies, you can use my Amazon QR code, and then I get a little something for your purchase. But no, I'm not telling you, oh, and then you need Mars Black, titanium white, cadmium yellow, and that's fine. I'm not poo-pooing people who do, because that's fine. And we all take our art differently, and that's okay. Not everyone is for everyone. Not everyone is for me, and that's fine. I understand that. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I want you guys. This is about the process and not necessarily the project. And if you're learning something from me, or it's a freezing cold Thursday night and you're scrolling through and you're like, oh, what's Teresa painting tonight? And you sit and you watch for the entire thing, or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever. That's it. Then my work is done here. I don't push my ways, my art, my colors, my color schemes on anyone. I want to share what art did for me and how art makes me feel with other people. And so we all do you. I would never tell anybody. And you know what? If you want to paint a big purple umbrella, paint a big purple umbrella. It's all good. It's all good. And I would love whoever does end up painting this, either painting along with me or maybe painting it over the weekend or over Super Bowl weekend. Share it. Tag me on your social media. I would love to see it. Okay. Now, the handle right now is solid black. I'm going to come back. I'm going to put some highlights in there. I can still see some of my chalk lines. I'm not worried about that. Tomorrow, maybe even when I'm completely done, like tomorrow afternoon, I will come back and get a damp paper towel and wipe off all my chalk marks. You just have to wait for your paint to be dry. Okay, now I have to be quiet 1 second because I got to concentrate and do this really straight, okay? All right. So I'm resting my pinky. I'm standing my brush up on the chisel edge. I'm resting my pinky on the canvas. I'm applying a little bit of pressure to my brush because I want the pole to be a little thick. I'm squatting because I want to move my whole body down and not just my arm. Not too shabby. We pick up some more black and bring it up to meet. And now I'm not going to touch it. I could have used my paint squats. There you go. And a 1 and a 2. Hold your pen or your paintbrush on the chisel edge and squat with me. Use your whole arm. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, so there we go. I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white on my black right now. And I'm just going to put a little bit of highlight up in here. It's going to make it a little bit gray. But that's okay. We're going to come back with white later. And I'm going to wash that brush. Okay. If you're watching on the replay, let me know if you're watching on the replay. And don't forget to put, if you want to be entered into the drawing for that bag of art supplies, it's a set of brushes from Plaid Folk Art, 4 bottles of paint from Deco Art, and a Plaid Folk Art stencil. If you want to be entered into the drawing for that bag of art supplies, put paint big in the comments. Okay, give me another sip. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little bit of white just on the tip of my brush. I cleaned my brush really well. It's nice and together. I have a nice chisel edge, and I'm just going to add a little bit of white down the side. It's still a little wet. I could have waited, but here we go for the squats again. Okay, just a little bit of white. I might come back with some fresh white for that later. We want to add you can't see it. I want to add a little bit of a shine highlight to that side of the brush. To that side of the pole, sorry. Excuse me. All right. Now I'm going to get out. So I was using this bright true yellow. I'm going to get out this deep ochre yellow. I could have used marigold. So this is the yellow I had. And now I'm taking out a deeper, darker yellow. I'm going to use deep ochre. I could have used marigold. I could probably use cadmium yellow. I don't know if I have one here. Cadmium yellow would probably be dark enough. If you don't have a darker yellow, but you have brown, add a little bit of brown, but go a little bit at a time to your yellow. That's it. That's all I got. So I'm going to put out some of this. This is deep ochre. Deep ochre. Yeah, deep ochre Deco Art yellow. And I'm using the same brush here. All right. I'm going to load this brush with some of my deep ochre. It's next to my light yellow, so it's picking up light yellow at the same time, and that's okay. All right. I'm going to start on this side. And, oh, I forgot the black there. I'm going to put 1 stroke of this darker yellow right down the side here. And I'm going to turn my brush and get narrower at the bottom. And then I'm just going to brush the shading across. Now, I think that's a little too dark. So I'm going to pick up some bright yellow on my brush. And now that's much better. Much, much better. And I'm going to brush the shading, this dark color, across all the way down to the corner. Okay? And so we added a little bit of shading to that side of the umbrella. Now, because I know that was a little too dark, I'm going to load my brush with my lighter color. And then I'm going to pick up the ochre. All right? And we're going to do the same thing on the next section. I'm going to hold my brush up flat here. I'm going to swoop down the section. And then as I come to the corner, I'm going to get skinny with my brush so it's not big and fat down there. And then I'm just pulling out this dark paint into my umbrella. A little bit of shade, okay? I'm going to pick up a little bit more of this. I need a little bit more bright yellow. Okay. I want to lighten it up a little bit. This side was a little too dark. And again, don't forget, it's acrylic paint. It's dry. You can fix anything. Okay. All right. Back again, loading it up with the bright yellow, dipping it in the yellow ochre. And now I'm doing my middle section. I'm going to keep my brush flat. I'm going to come down, but as I come down, I turn. And then I'm just lightly dragging out this dark color and adding a little bit of shadow to the one section here. Okay. Thank you, Capri. And no, you don't. But thank you. All comments help. Okay, yellow again. A little bit of the dark paint. And if you notice, I'm shading to the same side on here. But now that I'm going this way, I'm going to shade to the opposite sides. Okay. If you had 3 sections, like on the umbrella, you would do 2 one way and then 1 the other way. Again, I want to lighten this side up a little bit. And then yellow and the yellow ochre. Well, this one's going to be hard because I can't switch. So I'm going to come down here. Flat. Turn my brush right there. Okay. I'm going to wipe off my brush. And I do want to add a little bit of the light. I want to lighten up some of this. Okay. So I have the white on my brush and the bright yellow that we started with. And I'm just coming in here and I'm lightening up these middle sections. Yellow, a little bit of white. See this smiley face? I'm scooping it. I'm just like twisting my wrist back and forth, blending it in there, getting it a little bit lighter. Yellow, a little bit of white, and back in here. In some of the sections, if it's a bigger section, I'm using a little bit more pressure on my brush, but in the little sections, or you can switch brushes. Totally up to you. Okay, and there's my umbrella so far. There's my umbrella so far. I'm washing my brush. All right. And now I'm going to go back to my black for a couple of reasons. First of all, I forgot to paint the knob on the bottom. So let's just paint that in there. If you don't want to paint a circle, you can trace a little circle, or it doesn't have to be a circle. It could just be a little point. It could just be something that would like look like this. Thank you so much for explaining everything. I'm kind of new to painting. Debbie, I'm your girl. I do explain everything. I love to teach. I love helping others learn how to paint. And just hit me up if you have any questions. I'm here for you. Also up above, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead. There are tons of videos just like this, except on a reasonable size canvas. Last night I actually, no, I didn't do that one. I did paint this one live last night. This one's on my page from last night, but I have over 1,000 videos on my YouTube between shorts and full length step-by-step painting tutorials. So if you have not subscribed yet, the link is above and please do. Okay, loading my brush with some black. I want my black to be nice and neat. If you need to use a liner brush for this, if you need to use a small round brush for this, and the smaller your canvas, the smaller the brush, I'm okay using a flat brush. I learned to paint with a flat brush. I do pretty much everything with a flat brush. I am getting more into the round brush, but a round brush for what I'm going to do now for lines and detailing is a lot easier for newbies. This flat brush, this round brush, you can see it has a point at the end. So if you have a light touch, it's a lot easier to do a light line or a thin line with this round brush. Or then if you applied a lot of pressure to this round brush, you'd get a fatter line. Because I learned to paint with a flat brush, I do these things with a flat brush, but you use the brush that's comfortable with you. Practice thin lines. Practice with a flat brush. Practice with a liner brush. Practice with a small round brush. Practice thin lines and a light touch. That was the hardest thing for me to accomplish when I first started painting, was having a light touch. I still tend to be a little heavy-handed sometimes, but to really like hold back and almost the light as a feather touch, it took me a long time to get that. Okay, as we were. So now I'm going to come back. I'm going to do a little outlining. We want our umbrella to really pop, and we need to do all this before we get to our flowers tomorrow. So again, I need to paint where I'm comfortable, and I'm just going to come in here and paint in these little lines. They don't have to be complete, and they don't have to be full. And if you can't pull one line in one swoop, that's okay. You can just come back and keep attaching them and making it a few lines. I need more paint. Okay? So instead of me going, whoop, I can go a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit. Okay? And some of my lines are heavier, some of my lines are thinner, some are darker, some are lighter, and that is okay. That's a little wet there yet, but I'm going to manage. Oh, went off the line there a little bit. I'll fix that later. Okay. And then Right, I'm going to come back in with a little yellow. I need to fix that. But for now, thin light touch, yes. Yes, and that's understandable. It takes a lot to just get it right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put that in the water. Give it a wash. Get the black off of it. Give it a nice dry. I'm going to go into some white again. And I'm going to put in white highlights here. Now that this dried, a little white highlight. I'm going to fix my white highlight on my pole a little bit. Okay. I'm going to add a little white highlight to the knob at the top. Okay. And then I think I am going to switch brushes. I'm going to go for my liner brush now and put out a little bit more white. We're going to add some raindrops. The raindrops are random, thin, thick, short, long. I'm loading my liner brush. I'm turning it between my thumb and my forefinger. All the lines are going down vertical. And I'm just going to add random white lines to simulate the rain coming down. Some are long, some are short, some are heavy, some are lighter. You just want to make sure that they're straight to your canvas and not straight with your umbrella. My umbrella's on a curve, but my rain is falling down straight from the sky. It's not windy, the rain's just falling straight down. And you can add as much rain or as little rain as you want. Okay? A little white on the brush. Some of them you can see more because I'm doing a little bit heavier. And then some are just pretty light. Like this one, I think here I did a little too dark. I'm not going to worry about it. What I'll do is I'm going to add a couple of other dark ones so that one's just not all by itself standing out. Instead of worrying about this one, I don't even know if you can see it. This one was pretty heavy. So I added a couple more heavy ones so that one's not all by itself. I don't have to worry about fixing that one. I just added a couple of more. So now I made it look intentional. Only you guys and the rest of the interweb world know that I didn't mean to do that. Oops. Now I'm getting a little crooked here. I'll fix that one. So anyway, that is what we have for tonight. Our umbrella. Tomorrow morning, I am back at 10 a.m. We're going to tackle these flowers. They're not as difficult as you might think. Don't worry, the replay will stay up here on the Facebook page and the YouTube. If you want the download, it is not too late. It's available. Click the link above. Thank you for joining me tonight, you guys. Hey, Jerry. How are ya? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you back here in the morning at 10. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night, and stay warm.